So you have a new book out. Yeah, it's Worlds Away. How did the book project come up?
Well, actually, I had been working on this book forever, and I had promised everybody a book a long, long time ago. It's just I was not aware of the actual amount of money needed to print a few thousand copies. When I learned about the amount of money, I kind of freaked out, and so did many people interested in publishing it. I had almost given up on it, but I kept scanning my art and the early work, and I kept working on the book year after year, and not exactly thinking that it would eventually come out. John Merikowski, who's a publisher from Chicago, he did the book about Derek Riggs, who does the artwork for Iron Maiden and Dream Theater and a bunch of people, and so I think he did some work from Dream Theater. Anyway, John contacted me through Martin Popoff, who wrote a bunch of books about heavy metal,
right,
and is an older friend from Toronto, and they wanted to release my book. I rushed to finish it. Eventually, we were able to print 3,000 copies, a limited edition, very glossy and hardcover. After came out in July of last year. After I'm done selling all of these, I'm not sure if there's gonna be a second printing. Might be a limited thing. If there is a second printing, it's gonna be less of a lesser quality.
Like a soft cover.
Soft cover, maybe not as glossy, with a cheaper paper. So this edition is it's gonna be a rare one. I probably sold about half of it already, so which is great. Sending tons on tour and also online through voivodbook.com, so it's going pretty well. And like I said, I didn't think it would come out, and everybody on the Voivod forums didn't think it would come out. Whenever I would mention like, oh yeah, it's coming out soon, they were like, yeah, right, you know, they had been waiting for years and years. I'm really, really, really proud of it. Like, it really starts when I was like 13 at school drawing while the teacher is explaining stuff, and I'm trying to create a concept for comic books, and it ends in actually 2009 with the cover of Infini. So it's quite a long stretch from 76 to 2009.
So how did the Probot cover project come out? Because I know that Snake was one of the vocalists on the project.
I met Dave in the 80s when he was in Scream. They came to Montreal, and he was just amazing on drum. And he must have been about 17. I'm not sure he was old enough to be playing in that club where I saw them. He was just so amazing that I went backstage to shake his hand, which I never do. And because he was just the best drummer I had ever seen, and he was only like almost a teenager. And I didn't know that he was a huge fan of Voivod, and he knew everything about it and really liked my drumming and all that. So we became close friends and kept in touch. It made so much sense when I heard that he was in Nirvana in the early 90s, and in the early 2000s, I would say around 2001, 2002, he gave me a call and wanted me to do art for this crazy project that he had started, where he was playing everything except that a few tracks he wanted Lemmy to play, but he wanted his favorite thrash metal singers to sing on it. So he contacted Snake. I started working on the art, but I had a very dish computer at that time, and it took me like months and months to achieve what I had in mind, which was like a digital airbrush. With the money I made from the project, I bought a good computer, which was great. Eventually it came out in 2004, and it has been pretty successful, and so it got me a lot of exposure, and I got a lot of offers after that to do art for not only metal bands, but indie rock bands and hip-hop bands and all kind of musicians. And it opened a lot of doors, and I did a lot of work for Danko Jones, which also opened other doors. So now because of my online gallery, I have offers. I mean, I could actually be at home 24 hours a day and do art for other people if I wanted to, but I have like the best scenario going on right now, where I spend half of my life playing music on the road and the other half at home doing art. So I am pretty happy fellow right now.
Oh, that's great. In the book is called Worlds Away, and there's the original Probot cover, which is more like the cover itself is cropped, right?
Yeah. I did a very elaborate piece of art for Dave, but I think he had a real crush on the main character, the Probot, and he really wanted the highlight to be on this character. Originally, he wanted to use the other characters inside the booklet, but the layout turned out differently, which is fine. So I decided to put the full piece in the book.
It's really beautiful, and just that whole extra bit there is great. Is computer the only medium that you work in?
Ink and computer. Sometimes I start with ink and I scan it and I add the colors with the computer. I still do a lot of ink. I do a lot on the road, in hotel rooms or in the bus, and sometimes I start right on the electronic pad. But after doing the first 4 Voivod paintings in the 80s, I realized I was not a painter, and that if I wanted to be a painter, it'd be like decades of apprenticeship. So in '86, I bought an Amiga computer. I already had been doing computer art starting in '84 when the Apple made it available, but in '86 I bought an Amiga, which was a multimedia computer, very much in advance, because again it would take me like months to do one cover for an album if I wanted to do paintings. A shortcut was to buy a computer and do digital art, and back then all of my friends were like telling me it's sacrilege, it's not art, but I knew that eventually that would be it. I mean, with Illustrator, it's just crazy, and what you can do. So yeah, I do mostly computer work, but not to lose my skill. I do ink every day.
Yeah. Oh, every day. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So I have material for like about 5 books or more.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I did the selection for the book Worlds Away, I realized that I had like thousands of drawings. It was like almost impossible to make a selection, but I did, and ended up sending the publisher 1,000 drawings. And there are probably 600 or 700 of these on the book.